So after spending a couple years with my ZV-E10, which I really loved, I wanted to take some of my skills that I've been improving upon slowly with video. And so I purchased a FX30, and this is my FX30 rig right here. And that kind of led me down the road of getting some new SD cards. And so then as I was looking at SD cards, I realized that I kind of wanted to jump into some new CFExpress cards for the FX30, just in case I want to shoot in 120 frames per second at the best bit rate that I can. Pergear and a couple other companies had some affordable cards, and so I purchased these cards. So Pergear came out with some great memory cards this past year that didn't cost an arm and a leg. So we have this one that came out. It's called the Prime series. This is a CFExpress Type A card for my FX30, and the max read speed is 880 megabytes per second, and it comes with a sustained write speed of 400 megabytes per second. So I got this with a little bit of a package together. This is their card reader, which does the Express and regular SD cards, and it's plugged in by USB 3.1, so we get a higher transfer speed, being that it's a 3.1 card reader. And at the same time, Pergear just started selling their Master Series cards, and I had to wait a month for this to get here. This is the read speed of 1,780 megabytes per second and the write speed of 1,600 megabytes per second. So being that it's much faster, let's do some tests on both and see what the actual speeds. And so when you're buying this, you know that it's not a lie and that it's actually rating the speeds they are. So I have the Prime card inside of the Pergear card reader, and I formatted it in the camera, and we're going to pick 1 gig first, and we'll go to the drive, and we're going to test and then see what that comes up with first. With the 1 gig, and then what I think I want to do is do a more of a sustained test of 32 gig, and then we'll see what those numbers are in both. Okay, because we're supposed to get a read time of 880 megabytes per second and then a write time of 400 megabytes per second. All right, so now let's go to the 32 gig. This will give us a better idea of how it's going to roll with a bigger file, and we'll take a look and see what that test comes up with. In this situation, it's going to take a little bit longer. All right, so these are the numbers on the box, typically the first 2 numbers that show up in the read and write. And as far as the numbers, they're in the somewhat same ballpark in general. Okay, so that's the CFExpress Type A Prime Pergear card. Those are the 2 numbers we're getting right out of Crystal Disk. All right, a test isn't complete without using the Black Magic tester. Let's do the 1 gig to start. And we're gonna pick this drive here. All right, let's hit it. All right, the read is 752. And the write was 586. Okay, so I took the Master card, the Master Series card, formatted it in the FX30. It is inside Crystal Disk right now. We selected 1 gig, 1 test, and let's hit it and see what we get. There it is. Much different than what's written right on here, I would say. Right? 1780, 1600, right, let's go take this to 32 gigs and stress it out a bit more. Whoa. Wow. We saw that write speed. Holy shnikes, dip down a ton here. So that's a little questionable here. There's your results. Crystal disc. No lying there. Alright, so we're about to do the Blackmagic speed test now. And we're going to go select the drive. We'll do the 1 gig first. And then we'll go to select the drive, which is D. Select. Hit this test. We got 780 write and 811 read. So 780 write, 811 read. The 780 write is almost double what we were getting with the Prime setup. But now let's go to a 5 gig test. And let's try that. This will be a little bit more stress on this, but we're going to see what it comes up with. Right now we're getting 745 for the write. And the read is about 809. So 745, 809. Not bad overall. I think I'm going to keep both of these cards the way it looks right now. So after doing this review and I slept on some of my thought processes, I came to the conclusion that I will be keeping the Prime series card because of the write speed. And that's the main reason. The write speed is always going to sustain at 400 megabytes per second. And when I saw some of the testing on the bigger files that I was transferring with the master card that I have here, and I saw the write speed dip down to just about 300, I realized, yeah, it's faster generally, but more importantly, if I'm going to use both of these cards together, I want them to be able to write at the same speeds, and the minimum speed being higher and the sustained speed, like on the box says. I feel that that's just a safer and a better bet overall. So I'm sending back the master. I already ordered another Prime, and that's what I'm going to stick with. And it's only about a $30 difference for the Prime. It's actually more expensive. So that was my choice. That's what I'm going to be sticking to. And my final conclusion, I think overall, is for the price of for the master, I paid about $183. And then I'm paying about $215 for the Prime to spend that bit of extra money for that right reason. And therefore, that's what I'll be making my decision on. And I think for that price, I'm getting a good card. Let me know in the comments what you're sticking with. Have you used this card? How do you feel about this card? Give me some feedback. I appreciate that. Have a good day, and thanks for watching my video.